Amongst the many legging innovations, from fabrics that don't actually shear out when you squat to no front seams, lately I've been seeing leggings that have incorporated targeted compression to do various things such as lifting the glutes, compressing the tummy area, hiding skin texture, various things that many people look for in leggings. Of course, these are never things you ever have to do or hide, but let's be honest, sometimes we want our butts stuck a little bit better. Sometimes we want the lower tummy area compressed. Sometimes we just don't want our cellulite to be on display. It's normal to have cellulite, everyone has it. But basically, we have now turned leggings into shapewear that you can wear to the gym and wear out and about, and it may not necessarily be obvious. So today we have leggings from 5 different brands that incorporate targeted compression to shape the body, aka Shapewear Leggings. Every brand has their own idea of shapewear in their own areas that they're trying to compress, make smaller, make larger, various things. So for every legging, we'll give all of the claims, then we'll see if it actually makes a difference. I'll be comparing every legging side by side to some OG Lululemon Aligns that these are just known to not really compress any area at all. So this will really show if it's actually like shaping my body in any way. And if none of these leggings are your cup of tea, it is totally normal to wear just a regular pair of leggings that aren't trying to shape your body in any way. Sometimes these days I feel like leggings have been straying away from just functional and just like going off the deep end. So these are just some interesting leggings that I wanted to try. Let's start off with the first pair of leggings. And these leggings are the first shaping leggings that I had seen. Doesn't necessarily mean they were the first, but these are the first that I've ever tried myself. These are the Lazuli label Scrunch Seamless Contour Leggings. For reference, I'm a size small and all my measurements will be in the description below. These were $55 and these are the famous Scrunch Sculpt seamless leggings that I feel like are Lazuli's current like claim to fame. So from the front, they may just look like kind of a normal seamless legging. We have a compressive seamless waistband. This isn't really where the shaping comes in, but you do definitely get some compression in the waist. The body of the legging is made of kind of light to medium compressive material. And then we see some areas of targeted compression, and you really see it in the back where we have these little what I call booty out pouchings. So these leggings definitely focus on sculpting the glutes. That is the main focus of these. So there's a little area above the glutes where they kind of come in and contour a little bit with that ribbing that continues from the waistband. There is a scrunch up the back rise that goes in between the cheeks and gives you some glute separation. And then the material of the leggings on the glutes is ultra stretchy and thin so that it doesn't squish your glutes down at all. But then right beneath the glutes, we get the compression area. This is a compressive ribbed band that squeezes underneath the glutes, which first of all kind of hides any skin texture, cellulite underneath the glute, and just kind of gives you a little glute lift. There is a little ribbing down the leg as well. So let's try these on, and just a forewarning, these are not easy to get on. Like, it's a workout in itself just to get these leggings on, so you've been warned. All right, so these are not all the way on yet. I just wanted to demonstrate how to get these on. So I basically pulled them up like I would any normal legging, and then you're gonna wanna grab the fabric and shift it up the thigh, and you want the little ribbed area to be right below your glute. So you can see the difference between the two sides. And then we're gonna bring this side up. This is what I'm talking about when I say this is a workout. And then we want to get that scrunch between the cheeks. So now the compression area is right below the glutes, and it kind of gives you that little shelf moment. Okay, so these are the Lazuli Scrunch Sculpt Seamless. We have the compressive waistband. It's giving about a medium to high compression on me. It's just one thickness of this ribbed material. The rest of the legging is a more sleek, marled seamless. So it's still compressive, but actually has a pretty good amount of stretch throughout the legging. So the waistband doesn't really dip down into the lower tummy area, so I wouldn't expect any lower tummy control. Then the under glute area is a high compression. So this area, so it goes all the way around the thigh, almost like a little band you're wearing around your thigh. It just kind of squeezes in the whole upper thigh area. So if you're someone who kind of likes the feeling of that compression, especially around your thighs, it could actually feel good. And then we go to the back. Clearly we have a high on the booty scale. So we do have that little detail that pokes right above the glutes there. We have that scrunch, it's sitting nicely between the cheeks. The area on the glute is very thin and low compression, and then you have that contrasting with the high compression right under the glutes that gives you that kind of shelf effect. So it just kind of lifts everything up into the glutes and kind of compresses this area, so it makes the glutes look bigger in comparison. I definitely would say that these live up to their shapewear claims. These are definitely very shaping. The thick, dense rib also hides all the cellulite in your upper thighs as well. I personally have a little bit of like a double indent below my butt, which again, totally normal. And I think this also is very thick and hides that. And then the full length view, I was able to stretch these down a little bit, but they do reach about the ankles, so they're not the longest leggings. One thing I will say about these is that for me, my glutes start kind of down here, and it does go about half an inch above that. And I do get a tiny bit of wrinkling at the top of the glutes here. The leggings that have the booty out pouchings are very difficult to fit all bodies because they're made for like one measurement. And if your measurements are not exactly the same, they may not fit perfectly. So for me, I have worn these to the gym, and I know that by the end of my workout, this is kind of where that compression area likes to sit. It goes a little bit below my glutes. It doesn't like to sit right underneath the glutes. So that's going to vary from person to person, but just a warning, it can be difficult to get these to fit you perfectly. Overall for the Lazuli, reasonably priced. They're a little challenging to get on, but could be worse. And they definitely live up to their shaping claims, but it can just be a little bit challenging to fit on every body. The shaping is also very in your face. You're not like hiding the fact that you have a compression area under your glute. So it's very obvious, which like, you know, to each their own. I don't really care, but if you do. The next leggings are actually from a shapewear brand, which makes sense. These are the SPANXshape Booty Boost leggings. So I actually was just getting ads for this all over social media, so I just had to try them. So I've never actually tried a pair of leggings from Spanx before, but these leggings were making a lot of claims and I just had to give them a try. So on their website, these are described as active leggings with a built-in butt lift, designed with our signature performance fabric with targeted shaping and a contoured waistband. This flattering style is engineered to give you the best rear view. So when I think of a performance legging, I actually think of a legging that actually kind of compresses the glutes a little bit. I think there's a difference between like the Lazuli leggings where there's under glute compression, lifting the glutes from below, and then actually just kind of like holding your entire body in. If you have like a little bit of loose skin, something like that, I think those are different things, but I feel like the brands don't really like necessarily define that. So I feel like this is just going to be an overall compressive legging that is just kind of containing your whole body, but we will see. First of all, I was intrigued to see an expensive brand actually doing a no front seam legging because most of them, Lululemon, Alo Yoga, they just still have all front seams. These were also $98, so quite expensive. And I feel like it's probably like an upcharge for like the sculpting booty boost effect. There's a double thickness waistband. There is a top band and there is a seam all along the top of the waistband, which definitely can cut into your midsections. So it's not something I love. These do also look pretty straight up and down, so I hope there's no gaping. The waistband has this like inverted U shape going on, so it kind of gives you extra compression in like the hip area. We have a small triangular gusset. These did come in multiple lengths. I think I got the 7/8 just because I wanted this pink color. And the hem is actually just a raw cut at the end. This fabric is very dense, so it's not fraying, but there's no seam at the bottom of the leggings. So you could kind of cut these to whatever length you need. And then we go to the back, and this is not a shape I would generally choose to be flattering on the glutes. Normally I feel like we see a little bit of sculpting for like each cheek a little bit, like almost like a little V effect in the back. And this again is just that inverted U that I feel like can kind of give like unibutt, just not something I normally think of. We also have a pocket in the back of the waist here. And I just want to see if there are actually like any compression areas other than the waistband, because the way they describe it on the website makes it seem like it should be more than just a waistband. But I think that's it. The entire body of the legging is just a single layer of performance material. And then we have just a double thickness waistband. So honestly, I feel like these are just going to be like very normal performance leggings, and to call them like booty boost, I'll keep my mind open, but my hopes are low. Compared to some of the other things that we're going to see in this video, like, and these are the most expensive. Anyways, let's try them on. I was really hoping there would be some kind of like secret feature that, you know, like I just couldn't figure out on the website that really was sculpting with these, but I'm just not really seeing it. I honestly these are just another performance legging with some slightly interesting waistband choices. So first of all, we have the double thickness waistband. There's definitely tummy control in the waistband, and it does go pretty low. So lower tummy control, I think definitely it has it. It also scoops down onto the sides here for more compression there. Like if your hips are an insecurity, but I don't think I've ever really seen anyone's hips look like they need compression down here. Like it isn't something that I've ever seen anyone like really complain about, but like obviously I'm just one person. I do get a lot of your guys' feedback in the comments, but if this does seem like it's something that would appeal to you, definitely let me know down in the comments. I could be missing something. It's almost like if I just was like pulling my shirt over my leggings, this is the shape that it would give me. And I just don't know if I like it. I feel like it's the inverse of what you normally would be doing. Like you'd normally dip down in the front and maybe come up on the sides to give the lower tummy control there and then come up on the hips. Anyways, this fabric has good stretch to it. It's a really great performance fabric. So I think the fabric's really nice. Overall, the whole legging is a high compression. Definitely going to be very sweat wicking. And then we go to the back and these are squishing my butt down like pretty badly. And I just like don't understand why. Like I'm reading the reviews and everything and everyone's like, oh yeah, like I got like a butt lift from these. All I feel like I'm getting is a major unibutt and I just feel like I'm being completely squished down. Like I would give these like a low to medium on the booty scale. Like could be worse, but it's definitely not lifting my glutes. So again, just feel like the marketing they use doesn't really make sense. We have that shape again, this kind of that inverted U that I just don't really normally see as like a flattering shape to the glutes. It just kind of gives you more diaper butt. I guess I could see like the middle here maybe being a little bit lifted, but not really. The compression is nice in the upper thigh area. I feel like these would be like mostly cellulite friendly. And then these are the 7/8 length, but they do come in multiple lengths. So I just got this one because I wanted the pink. There is that top band on these. Since they're not super tight on my waist, I'm not getting any cutting in, so that's good. Then we also have a little hidden pocket in the back. Overall for the Spanx, are they a good performance legging? Yes, if they were just advertised as a performance legging, I think they're good. But in terms of like a shapewear legging, I think really the only place we're seeing any shaping is the tummy and the hips, but no shaping on the glutes, which is fine, but they're called the booty boost leggings. So just feel like maybe the marketing is a little bit deceiving for these, but they're not bad leggings. They are a little bit pricey though. I was just filming a little section to show the details of these Spanx leggings, and I did not realize that my leggings are actually incredibly messily cut. Like, this is insane. Like, I took these out of the bag today, and can you see? It looks like a kid took some scissors to them and just like cut them up. It's so messy. Like the one side is even, but this side is not even at all. So now I have to contact customer service because that's just so weird. Our next legging is from Halara. These are the SoCinched leggings. I always like to throw in at least one or two affordable options into the video, and Halara, I feel like their prices are confusing, but you can almost always get them on sale. I bought these ones for like $33. So these are the high-waisted, butt-lifting, tummy control, side pockets, shaping, training, UltraSculpt leggings. So they're a long name, so I can't even like say it all at once. I got a size small. So these claim to have tummy control as well as a little butt lifting effect, and they definitely have some additional features here that I think could actually work. So the overall body of these leggings is actually made of a more lightweight, soft, brushed material. So the base of the leggings, you can see, doesn't have a whole lot of structure and compression, but they use targeted compression and mesh inserts to create the shaping effect. So we do have some side pockets. We have an extended gusset that goes down the leg. I think these come in multiple lengths as well. And then we get to the waistband and you can see a lot more structure going on in the waistband. So what it says on the website is that they have like a sandwich technique where there's 2 layers of fabric with a mesh insert in the middle. And it also kind of feels all bonded together. So it's almost like all of the fabrics are glued together to create a thicker and more smoothing fabric. So the result is this more structured piece. So that's the front of the leggings. In the back, we do have those V seams around the glutes. There is a scrunch up the back and it's not stretchy at all, so that kind of concerns me a little bit. Sometimes you get this scrunch and it stretches out on you, so it doesn't actually look scrunched when you wear it, so we'll see. And you can see there's an under glute contour here that just is about like 1.5 inches in width that goes right under the glutes. It's that same sandwich material from the waistband that they just insert under the glutes. So let's see how these are. I was expecting these to actually be okay. But guys, these are so bad. Like Halara has not let me down this much in a while. So we'll get to the big disappointment in the back in a second. In the front, overall, these are definitely like a lightweight naked feel fabric, very light compression. These are supposed to have tummy control, and I will say I just feel only about like a medium compression in the waist, and I don't think this dips down enough. I think it's still pretty high, so I wouldn't really consider these super tummy controlling, which they were supposed to be. We have side pockets, And then I've avoided it long enough, but we go to the back and like, guys, what the heck is going on here? Like, this is so bad. The compression area is supposed to go below your glutes like it does in every single other legging. But this goes right straight across my glutes. There's not really much I can do about it. Technically, these should be up even higher, and it's even worse. Like, this is giving me quadruple butt, if that even was possible. And then if you're like, okay, well, like pull it down lower, it's still just like too short. And the leggings are supposed to sit higher up than that. Like, this is like really dipped down in the back. We've seen with the other leggings, like the Lazuli, that my glutes are actually a little bit too short for those. For these, apparently they're made for someone whose glutes are like 3 inches long, because how is any butt supposed to fit in this unless you're like literally... The only way I could see your butt fitting in this is if your butt is the size of Pinto's. And he's got a tiny butt. And I'm not just talking about like glute volume, I'm talking about like length. These just are not gonna fit anyone. So this compression area is also just very unforgiving. I don't like the idea of just like a single band. I like a compressive area on the thigh, like the Lazuli had. This just makes it so that you compress right into the glutes, but then the rest of the thighs don't get any compression either. The scrunch is also very unforgiving. It's super tight and there's no movement there. So the whole back of these leggings is just frankly awful. I don't think I've seen a legging this bad in a while. So let me know if you guys have tried these, but they are pretty bad. Next, we have a legging that has been very popular for a while now, but I have yet to try them on the channel. These are the DFYNE Impact Seamless Leggings. These are actually the AliExpress version, but they are exactly the same. I did actually film a video about these, but I chickened out and didn't post it. If you guys ever remembered like the old OG Success leggings from Amazon, those are the same as the DFYNE Dynamic leggings. So there's some DFYNE lore going on. But anyways, we're just talking about these leggings today. So these are the Impact Seamless. Again, if you have ever tried the Amazon Success leggings, it's a very similar fabric to this. So these are a very, very thick, durable seamless. If you're used to like an Alphalete Amplify seamless, these are not going to be similar at all. So the features of these, first of all, the waistband is sewn on to the body of the leggings, which you don't always see for a seamless legging. And there are 3 levels of compression to the waistband. They all feel like a similar compression level to me, but technically there are 3 little levels of the compression. And then the back is where they get kind of crazy. I feel like these are similar to the Lazuli, but a little bit more subtle. So the waistband is sewn on, so you get a little V contour above the glutes that contributes to the glute enhancing effect. We do have a scrunch up the back rise, and the scrunch is pretty stiff, so it's definitely giving a little bit of a wedgie moment. And it's subtle, but they do use a slightly more lightweight material in the actual glute space. You can see we got some booty out pouchings again. And underneath the glutes and all the way down the leg, it's a more compressive, kind of more textured material, which like the Lazuli helps to kind of compress the upper thigh, give you a little bit of a glute lift, and also disguise a little bit of cellulite. So since I have already tried these on, I know that these are just like super low for me. And I'm honestly surprised that these are that popular. I tried to wear these to the gym and I did not have a good time, so. But to each their own, let's try them on. Okay, here we are with the Impact Seamless. So we have the 3 areas of compression, but overall compression on the waistband, it's honestly not like super compressive. It could be a little bit tighter for me, but we do see that these are quite low. I feel like when I worked out in these at the gym, like it was like below belly button. I feel like these do not fit me like they fit everyone else, but let me know down in the comments because I have just not been a fan of these. Anyways, these are made of a very, very dense, almost like rigid seamless that is super durable, but you definitely feel the stretch in your knees. They're also very difficult to get on, even more difficult than the Lazuli. The crotch area fits well, no front seams. And then we get to the back. So these do have a scrunch. I just don't feel like it goes between the cheeks a lot. Like the Lazuli scrunch gets like hidden between the cheeks. And this one I feel like just kind of stands out quite a bit. It also is a very rigid scrunch. So if you are not okay with wedgies, stay away from these because this is very much a wedgie feeling. We also have these seams that contour around the glutes here. I do find that very flattering. They sit right about my hip bones, so very flattering. And then we have the 2 different fabrics around the glutes. The fabric that's on the glutes is nice and lightweight and stretchy, so it doesn't squish them down. And I really like the fabric they use underneath the thigh here. I wish it was kind of like just under the thigh, not down the whole leg, because that's what makes these kind of like stiff and rigid. But it is a great material for the thigh area. It hides cellulite well. It does give just a little bit of compression, but it's not crazy. So I don't feel like I'm getting that same like shelf that I get from the Lazuli. which honestly I prefer it to be a little bit more subtle like this. I also feel like it comes up onto my glutes a little bit, kind of like where Halara was hitting, but because it's not just like one band, it doesn't look as weird. But I don't know, I feel like I've seen people in these leggings and they just look so different than from what I feel like I look like. Like I do feel like these are flattering on the glutes, but not in the same way I've seen them on other people. So overall, if you're looking for a really compressive legging with a little scrunch, a little glute enhancement in the back, and you don't mind like a more stiff, rigid legging, I think these are great. For me, they just don't really have quite enough stretch for me. The rise is too low, and I just don't really feel like it's actually doing my glutes that much justice. Like it's not bad, but let me know if you know what I mean in the comments down below. Because I've been grappling with these for a while on why they're so popular, and I just don't feel like they deserve the hype. And Peach is here to say hello. How you doing, girl? The next legging is from a brand that you probably have never heard of before. The only reason I'd heard of them is because they're constantly in my emails asking to sponsor a video. But instead, I just bought these myself because I like to try things myself. And I also just don't know how I feel about these, so we'll see. These are the Fanka Body Sculpt leggings, and they are reversible. I got a size small, which is where their size chart put me at, and they're $85, so they are quite pricey. And these leggings make a lot of crazy claims. So first of all, we have this dipping down waistband in the front that goes quite low. So these are definitely gonna offer the most tummy control that we've seen. Kind of similar to the Halara leggings, you have this bonded fabric. The base of the legging is definitely a performance material and will give you some compression, but there's a ton of structure in this upper waistband, and it's going to just really contain everything well. So again, it's multiple layers of fabric glued together and just almost creates like a wall that just like smooths everything out. I have mixed feelings about waistbands like this because I think they can kind of overly squish you or like flatten you in ways that you may not like. And sometimes the back of the waistband doesn't conform to like your lower back very well, but we'll see when these are on. There's technically no top band in these. They just have that thickened waistband. There is a front seam. They have a version of the leggings with no front seam, but they don't have the same waistband situation, so I got the front seam ones. It also concerns me just how short this front seam is, because that means it's just gonna pull up even more. And then we get to some of the crazy stuff going on. So you can see the texture on these leggings. They have like this detail woven into the fabric that they claim gives you joint support, thigh support, and glute support. So it's like an extra thick area of the fabric. These almost remind me of those resistance band leggings I tried a while back, but it kind of feels like this is just like a little like velour overlay onto the leggings. Like it feels like they're trying to like recreate like a knee brace with this, because this goes like right around the knee. And then in the back is where we get that thigh and glute support. They have more of that little texture going on, kind of circling the glutes, going underneath the leg and a little bit below the calf as well. There's definitely just a lot going on with these. On their website, they said, by using advanced techniques like 3D printing, we're able to create different levels of tension across a single layer of fabric without adding any additional materials or seams. So I guess they use 3D printing to incorporate this into the fabric. And again, these are supposed to be reversible in wear. So you can either wear it with this on the outside so you see the texture on the outside, or you can flip them inside out, which is probably how I would wear them. But you do have to get rid of this tag somehow. So you don't see all that texture on the outside of the leggings, because I just feel like it just like doesn't look the cutest. So let's try these on. Okay, so here are the Fanka leggings. I'm wearing them, I guess, right side out. Like this is the way they're sent. There is like a tag on the inside. So I think this is the way they're kind of meant to be worn, but again, you can wear them reversed. So overall, I'm actually very impressed with how these are fitting me. They're very true to size. I was really worried about this waistband. I thought I would get a lot of gaping, but there definitely is a teeny gape at the top just because of this fabric. But overall, I feel like it's going to stay up pretty well without really squeezing me too much. So these are true to size. And I think where these really have the best shaping is the tummy area. This is the most lower tummy control out of any of the leggings. And it has like this like dense like mesh on the inside in addition to the bonded fabric. And I just really feel like if lower tummy control is your main concern, like you really just want a lot of smoothing, this is definitely going to do a good job. Unfortunately, the front seam, if I pull these up at all, does cause problems. So I'm just not a front seam girly. I would say it's not like, I don't know, is it horrible? It doesn't cause me problems like at every single moment, but definitely something to be aware of. The overall legging is, honestly, it's like a light to medium compression. The actual material is a nice sleek performance, but it has a good amount of stretch. It's overall not too compressive and restrictive. Okay, so first we have this little knee compression moment that's supposed to give you some, I don't know, like stability. I've never really had like knee problems where I've needed to wear a knee brace, but I can imagine this probably is not enough if you truly have knee problems to like really actually keep everything in, like if you're someone who's actually wearing a compressive knee brace. I don't want to say that these leggings do nothing, but I do feel like it's definitely giving a little bit of a gimmick moment. So could these provide some knee support? Maybe, but the fabric actually isn't really that compressive. I was expecting a little bit more compression, but because it's just like little bands, if this was like an actual like compressive ribbed area, I think it would do more, but I wouldn't really expect a lot of knee support. Then we go to the back, and honestly, I don't find them that flattering on the glutes. I think they're just like a solid middle of the road medium on the booty scale. 3D printed technology going on. It doesn't really compress. Like it's not adding any additional compression. It's just giving like a little bit more thickness. I think it would definitely hide cellulite and leg texture, but in terms of like a glute lift, I just don't really think that that's happening. And I don't really know what they mean by thigh support. On the website, they have a girl going like this and it's thigh support. And I'm like, what part of that is thigh support? Like it doesn't really make sense to me. So this part I definitely feel like is more gimmick, and it's just so obvious that these lines are all over the leggings. So I'm gonna try these on inside out just so we can see how visible they are with all the lines on the inside. Okay, here we are inside out. So you can definitely still see the lines a little bit. I think it's more subtle, and I like this way better because all of the lines have this kind of like velvety texture to them, and I feel like it just like grips onto the body better with them being on the inside. Also, yes, sorry for the tag, but this is where they decided to put it. I do feel like this way I may be getting like very small amount of lift, just a very small amount. So I would definitely recommend wearing them with the material on the inside. And yeah, one final note, you just are going to get that lipping out of the waistband whenever you have like a really structured bonded waist like this. So if that's gonna bother you, then definitely be warned. Overall for the Fanka leggings, I think they have some shaping effects. Like definitely the waistband is really forgiving for lower tummy, but I think most of the other little 3D printed design is mostly gimmick. I really don't think it's going to give significant shaping or support, and it gave pretty minimal compression. I definitely feel it on my body, but it doesn't feel like compressing or lifting in the ways that some of the other leggings did. It's an interesting idea. I think the design's a little bit too in your face for me. I also don't like the front seam, so for me, they'd be a pass. And I know I said it was only 5 leggings, but it's actually 6. So we have one more. I wanted to include the Buffbunny Miracle Seamless leggings because these are similar to the Lazuli in idea. They definitely have some different stuff going on. So these are a size small and they are $68. We have a compressive waistband, and they say that the waistband offers some tummy control, but it doesn't dip down a ton in the front. I would have liked to see it come down like a little bit more. The base of the legging, it's kind of similar to the DFYNE. It is a more dense structured seamless, but I think this has more stretch than the DFYNE. And then the back is really where we get crazy. First of all, you see booty out pouchings. We have the V-contoured seams in the back. These have a short back rise seam that can go up the glutes. So instead of actually being like a physical scrunch, it is just a short seam, but it has the same effect. And then there are multiple targeted layers of compression that go right underneath the glutes. So there's a super high compression one that goes right under the glute, and then kind of a medium compression that goes under that, and then like a lighter to medium compression that goes under that. All this is going to compress underneath the glute to give the glute a lift, and also again, just kind of hide cellulite in the upper thigh area. Let's try these on. Okay, so here we are with the Miracle Seamless. These kind of feel like a combination of the DFYNE and the Lazuli, like it has certain components. The waistband does have some good compression here. I feel like it doesn't like, it's not like squeeze you compression, it's kind of more like hold you in compression. It does dip down slightly in the front. Not crazy, but definitely a little bit. The overall compression of the leggings is about a medium, and you definitely have more stretch to it than the DFYNE. I don't feel like as much knee tightness. It still has that very durable, seamless feel, so they're not like a super soft legging. The front is very simple. Down the side is where you start to get some of that ribbing coming in. Then you can see kind of like the Lazuli, we are getting that kind of shelf effect. So you do get all that compression under the glutes. So taking a closer look, we have a band of like really tight compression, then a little bit less, and then a little bit less that goes all the way down the back of the thigh. So you're getting compression all the way throughout the thigh, but it's tightest right underneath the glute. This I feel like almost is a little bit too tight. I feel like just one level of compression would have been just a little bit better. I feel like it just cuts in a little bit too much right there. You are getting good cellulite coverage here. The glute out pouch is nice and thin, so we're definitely getting a high on the booty scale overall. We have those curving seams here. We have that short back rise that acts like a scrunch, but it's not like super visible scrunch like the DFYNE. And then these do sit right under the glutes, but because again, these can be hard to fit every body, I do get a little bit of like wrinkling at the top here because I just feel like it doesn't completely fit my glutes the way that it should. So for me, I would need this to be like a little bit smaller of a section. That's just the thing with these compressive leggings, is that they just are very limited in the size, and not everyone has the exact same body. So still definitely a high on the booty scale, but it's a very in-your-face compression. When I wore these to the gym, I just like honestly felt like they were a little bit too much, but you're definitely getting that shapewear lift. So overall with the Buffbunny Miracle Seamless, I think they definitely do the job they're trying to do with the shapewear, and they're still a durable seamless while maintaining some stretch. But again, it's just very in your face, and I just feel a little bit weird walking around in them, honestly, but if you want a glute lift, they definitely are lifting the glutes. Just keep in mind the glute space may not be perfect for everyone. Okay guys, that is all of the shapewear leggings that we have today. I feel like there's a good mix of like glute lifting, tummy control, some good, some not so good. Let me know if I missed any of your favorites down below, and let me know what you think of these. Are they kind of fun for a special occasion? Are they just too much? Are we straying away from what leggings are supposed to be, which is just like functional athletic wear? I think a combination of cute, flattering, and functional should always be the goal, but some of these leggings are just so crazy that they just ruin the function. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Peach says, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!